This is very embarrassing. It's embarrassing that a show that I have done nothing but hype it up, a show that I'm currently covering, a show in which we are literally watching the 3-part movie for right now, can't beat Death Note. And it makes a lot of sense. The votes are 9.3k, meaning it's pretty much over. I mean, it was pretty much over in the beginning. It's also very interesting how the margins don't really change that much. At the first 1,000 votes, the distribution was always kind of like this. So I want to talk about like what our game plan is for Monogatari, what we're gonna do with Death Note, read some of the comments and the people complaining and crying, and let's just try to understand why would a show that got voted in loses when it has all the buffs. It is literally the theme of our channel right now. First couple comments from the update video here. He's never gonna find out what happened during spring break, isn't he? No. You are not gonna find out my reaction to what happened during spring break. People have this very snarky and what's it called, entitled like mindset when it comes to reaction content like this, especially when things get dropped midway. They get all salty, and rather than understanding what the greater majority wants, they start lashing out and start saying shit like this. It's not my fucking issue. Honestly, it doesn't matter what wins for me. Like, you should be fucking glad that I even checked out this bullshit show and gave you the fucking content that it deserves. Like, I genuinely don't care. I move on and give my audience what they want. Like, stop fucking crying here. I think Ka would love Kaiki. A lot of people are hyping that guy up, and Nisei. A lot of people are also, you know, hyping up the toothbrush scene, which I think is just lolicon content. And some people are also saying, I think people won't even care about Nisei. I think people only want to watch the sus lolicon stuff, which is very telling that, you know, a show... Listen, like, if the only way that you're looking forward to a reaction is a specific episode and you don't even watch anything else just for one sus scene, it tells me that, like, you're a really weak audience. It's crazy to think 80% of the community wants to watch either Nisei or Death Note, with only 20% wanting something else. It's not crazy. It's because I told you, what have I been doing? What have I been doing this entire time? Constantly competing, making shows go up against each other, figure out what people want to watch. Like, do you think these polls are just random bullshit I do for fun? It is fun though, for sure it is. But the whole point of doing like 10 separate polls leading into it is such that we have an outcome like this, where we can find 2 shows that everybody wants to watch, and to give me something else, the third option, it needs to be low. Last time during Bake, it was kind of like very high, right? Give me something else was actually quite high. Oh, what's up? Thank you, GOT Games, for the raid. Appreciate it. Guys, we're recording a video right now talking about what show we're going to watch next. It might be Death Note. I appreciate it. Mr. Is it Game of Thrones Gaming? Not gonna lie, I always thought it was Game of Thrones Gaming. GOT Games, GOT Games. I guess this guy likes Game of Thrones, but he don't even react to Game of Thrones. Thank you for the waffle raid. Appreciate it. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Everybody please go check out GOT Games too. Link in the fucking, it's being shouted out right now. GOAT Games, maybe he could do a rebrand. But let's just talk about this for a second, right? The reason why less than 20%, before, what was it? Before, it was like this. And I think that this poll is exactly why Nisei is losing. Well, it's not exactly why, but there's a lot of different reasons. I think it's part of it. 41% doesn't want Bake. They don't want Monster. But it's fine. Because remember what I said? Even if you have something like this, right? Even if you have a distribution like this, the fact that 41% of you were not able to bind, so you see, like 30% here is one thing, right? This is one entity. This though has so many separate shows, right? Like, who knows how many different fucking like shows, like maybe this is 15%, maybe this is 10%, right? Maybe this is 5%, and what is this right now? 25, 30, and then maybe there's 11% here, right? I'm trying to show you that, like, there's, just because it's 41 doesn't mean that they're all united on something. They're united against not watching Bake. But this poll didn't just happen out of nowhere. There were multiple polls leading into this, And finally, we have a coalition of a bunch of people that weren't able to select their shows, and it became like this. It's also interesting, again, how Monster made it in over Death Note. When we compared Monster and Death Note recently, Death Note's winning. I think a lot of people kind of woke up to the realization that, holy shit, this guy might actually do Death Note reactions. And a while back, there was a bit of a Monster crowd. I think the Death Note hype is definitely going up. So this poll, again, I don't think it's that bad, right? Bake is not doing terrible. It's definitely not amazing, though, either, right? It's definitely lackluster for a community series. I think a community series before the Shadowban buff, as in like after that 3rd day, definitely that's where all the viewership is right now when you're Shadowbanned. But even before that 3 days, you should be able to comfortably get to like 4,000 to 5,000 views without it. The fact that it can only get to that mark after the 3rd day buff means that it's a very like poorly procured show. So this poll, this round that we did, it was not very good, right? It's not the worst, it's workable, but it's also like a very telling sign that there's a lot of people that's just waiting. They want something else to happen. Let's see something else too. Death Note is really good until the last third, blah, 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 sure. People just always gonna be complaining. 41 and 41, they're kind of comparing the viewership there. Let's read some of the poll comments right here. Looks like it's over. I wonder if Nisa fans will be there by 37 episodes of Death Note will end. We get Baki and Kizu Monogatari at the very least. I'm glad that I checked out at least Baki and Kizu. I think they're elite anime. It's just unfortunate that we can't continue this on the YouTube side at least, right? 37 episodes of Death Note will happen within less than a month and a half roughly, right? As we go into, you know, winter 2026, I also have to, fall 2026, I have to check out many different animes. I don't know how many weeklies are going to be there, but I think ideally we should be able to cover at least like, I don't know, an episode a day or so, right? That's kind of the goal. Observing the Monogatari fanbase via various polls, Patreon interactions are even interesting so far. Series is by itself is very niche even in Japan, and it is a rather hard time for the majority of follow anime due to long and complex storytelling. There is like a filtering process. I think that a lot of people call Bake as like a very niche, underappreciated show, but I think that if your anime is actually that good, why wouldn't people want to watch it? Straight up, right? Why wouldn't people want to watch great anime? Because great anime doesn't mean popular anime. There's a lot of great anime out there that filters out a lot of casual viewers because of the nature of its storytelling. When I watch Bake, I can tell that it's definitely not for the casual audience. And there's a lot more of the casual audience than the hardcore audience. One of the most important things I think that a show needs to do is to be able to let in the casual audience and let them enjoy, but then also have a ceiling where basically the floor needs to be high. The floor needs to exist where it's low enough. So let me give you like an example here. So if we look at these two concepts, I have what's called a floor and a ceiling. So this is a ceiling and a floor. It's pretty simple to understand, right? A floor and a ceiling. Duh. Like you have a room, you have a roof, and you have a fucking floor. What do I mean by this though? What I actually mean by this is that this ceiling here is like the difficulty level of how much sweaty it can get, and this is supposed to be the casual audience. And let's say the floor to entry for something like Demon Slayer is like here, okay? I don't know. Let's have a graph here, and maybe the bottom here. This can be like the x-axis doesn't really matter. Y-axis is like difficulty, I guess. Skill issue, right? Skill issue. So when you have like a basically skill issue, and what I'm trying to say is Demon Slayer, the barrier of entry is here, okay? Nobody fucking needs to think. You can just watch something and enjoy it. And the lower the barrier of access it is, the easier people can get in and enjoy their show. The higher the barrier of entry is, though, the more difficult it is for people to watch it. There is an IQ gap. There is literally a gap between the casual audience that gets filtered out trying to watch something like Bake. And that's not even thinking about the ceiling, right? When I'm talking about the ceiling, I'm talking about, do you actually understand all the foreshadowings and the symbolism and actually be able to theorize and deeply like think about what's going to happen into the future? Not like this basically here, the floor is, the show is telling you things, right? But when you watch an anime, you see the way that I react, right? And you don't need to react like that. You don't need to watch it like that. But you know when they give you the answers? basically, this is it being spoon-fed to you, right? This part is, I want to really think about this in Theorycraft, right? There's a lot of different experiences you can get out of an anime. And there's some shows that's too sweaty where the floor too is too high for the entry of accessibility is. The perfect show, in my opinion, is a combination of both, where you have the floor, the barrier of entry, being low enough that everyone can enjoy it and have fun, yet high enough that the hardcore audience are picking up on all these different clues and theories and little clues and be able to really think about the show, right? I think To Be Hero X is a decent example of that. It's a very simple show to watch. But there's also a lot of intricate little plot points happening and teasers being laid out in different PVs and trailers and stuff. It also helps that it's anime-only content, as in there's no source material for people to cheat off of, right? You need something like that. And Bake, in my opinion, I think definitely does filter people out because it's just too smart. It's too pretentious. It's too smart for the average person. Average person watches first episode of Bake and they go, what the fuck did I just watch? Their brains can't comprehend with it. And when you realize there's like a distribution curve, right? When you realize that the average intelligence, right? It's like this. Okay? IQ. Most of us are probably here, right? A lot of you might think that you're over here. You're probably over here. And some of you motherfuckers that might think you're over here, you fuckers might be cavemen down here. I think I am probably here. I think a lot of people are here too. But like, even these people are like the crayon eaters, you know? Like, you think like these people are crayon eaters? These people are crayon eaters. I'm a crayon eater too, and I love eating crayons. They're fun. They're tasty. I love Attack on Titan. I love, you know, fucking Naruto and One Piece and Bleach and all that hype shit, right? There's a lot of things that play into it. When you realize that, like, also the y-axis here is like, it's like population, right? Population. Fuck, my writing is bad. Meaning, there's a lot more of these fuckers, the casual crowd, than people here, right? That's what I'm trying to say. So when you think about the numbers, you realize that it's like a popularity contest. What's going to appeal to the more people? Casual, chill shows that everyone can watch. Bake also has an issue with, like, not pedophilia, but Japanese customs and cultures and wordplay that is hard for the Western audience to get into. Therefore, you rarely see this anime on the mainstream. However, those that do seem very dedicated to the series, if it is reflected objectively by the fact that Bake Monogatari series is a wing, blah, blah, blah. Basically, what he's trying to say is, I get it. I think that, basically, Bake audience is very hardcore. On Patreon, too, the engagements, the amount of likes and whatever, it is the highest. So, it's really cool that there are some shows, even if it's not as mainstream and popular, the quality of the audience is elite. They are diehards that's willing. Like, here's a concept, right? That I think that I've told you guys before. A small creator with 100 viewers that are diehard, you know, like zealots for that content creator, that content creator can make more money than another content creator, which is a tourist zone that has like averaging 1,000 viewers. Do you understand what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not just about big number good. Sometimes it's about what kind of people lead to those numbers and how much high quality audience is there. Remember how I constantly tell you guys the concept of these circles, right? About like the importance of creating a community and how basically there's like different phases, right? Of like an audience, right? We have in the beginning a bunch of tourists that comes in just watching like solo leveling and other trends, and wow, I didn't even know your channel exists. And later on they start to realize, holy shit, your polls exist. And later on they're literally on Patreon and Twitch every fucking day, right? High quality, like as the scale goes this way, the quality of the audience exists, like basically is better that way. Bake from the beginning already started off like here. Like they kind of weren't even really like, well, they are tourists, but the level of how dedicated they are to the content, to willing to come out to the Twitch streams and Patreon and stuff like that, it tells me that like this is a very high elite audience, and I do appreciate them for sure. Go Nisa, GG Nisa, you had a good run. Listen, you'll see, man. You'll see. In Autosave's case, their Monogatari gets the highest views in their channel other than Evangelion, even more than Solo Leveling and FMA Brotherhood. Exactly. Do you know why? Because autosave, again, right? They are a highly specialized channel in that specific type of animes. They can't get into the crayon eating audience. And there's pros and cons to that, right? I think that the best thing you can do is to be able to tap into both audiences. You don't want to ever shoebox yourself into just doing one thing. But channels, you'll notice that sometimes channels that cover really smart shows, like these quote-unquote smart shows, they just can't get viewership for battle shonen shows. And then the channels that heavily just does only battle shonen shows can never get viewership for the more quote-unquote smarter shows, right? That's how the algorithm works. That's how you build up an audience. Like if you build up an audience of fucking burger enjoyers, and then you suddenly start to give them salads, what are they gonna think, right? It's a very simple analogy to understand. Monogatari Bros, this is the only chance we have to win. Imagine the peak reaction for the peak scene. I think that you guys only care about episode 8, where there is a sus lolicon scene that everyone is hyping up, and you don't actually care again about anything else. People are voting for Nisei. I'm voting for Best Girl Kaiki. We're not to shame. Looks like we will see Death Note. That's fine for me. Just finished Monogatari season 2, and the story gets a lead. And again, right, Monogatari should be winning if we're literally, like, if it is that elite, then why isn't it winning? Because it's just too different of a show, and the casual audience doesn't care about it. Each Gatari upload gets quite a lot more likes than anything else on Kakao's Patreon, so it'd be interesting to see if Death Note would even get half those likes. I think it absolutely will. I think it's a no-brainer. Like, you think that, like, people are only here for Monogatari? No. Where do they even come from? From the fucking polls. If there's more people that's trying to do this shit. But then there's the other idea too, right? That, like, how much high-quality audience are the Death Note people gonna be? How much overlap is there gonna be for, what's it called? How much overlap will there be for the amount of Monogatari enjoyers that actually do want to watch Death Note too? Remember, it's a compounding thing, right? It's a compounding thing where it's like snowball effect. You're trying to capitalize on, you know, like, let's say this is the Monogatari audience, right? And then after, like, Bake is done, I don't know. Like, let's say, like, people showed up in the beginning for, like, one specific show, right? And after that's done, right? A lot of people kind of, like, leave. Maybe it's, like, smaller like that. But then we pick another show. And suddenly, it's bigger now. Because these are the people that stuck around for me and actually do care about the other shows too. And on top of that, we have a new fandom coming in together with it. Do you understand? So once these two combine, boom, we have a bigger pool of audiences, more bigger than this. And once this trend dies down, of course, it's going to get smaller again because a lot of people are going to get filtered out because they were only here for one specific show. But then what's going to happen? Another big trend is going to overlap together, and then it's going to get bigger and bigger. Do you understand? It's like a snowballing effect of pick a trend, work off of it, do good enough. Then people leave because they only cared about that one thing, and that's fine. You pick a new thing, some people stuck around. Combine that with a new trend, it gets bigger and bigger. This is an important process. I'm so sad for Nisei right now, but at least we have a good fight, especially against Death Note that's so popular. Everyone knows it's compared to Monogatari, it's almost unfair. I was looking forward to Nisei. Again, unfair for who though? Unfair for your show? This is not a pity party. This is not a participation-driven pity party of, oh my god, I'm gonna make videos on series that no one wants to react to. This is the absolute fairest thing I can do. Constantly gauging the interest of my audience. Not just a specific type of audience, everybody. You know who it's not fair to just run it down mid and just keep going Monogatari even though no one asked for it? This audience here. The 41% of people that says, give me something else, that are still fucking waiting for something new. What about them, right? You gotta think about it like that, but I get it. Like, people can only think about it in their specific, like, perspective. What else is there? I guess it's time for me to rewatch Death Note based. Again, they're all just talking about toothbrush scene. A bunch of fucking lolicons that don't even actually watch the fucking reactions either. Let's see, what else is there? Monogatari failed the comment sections test. Looks like it'll be over for it. Basically, this is a meme where the losing choice will have people crying in the comment section. There's a common theme in every single poll. The people that's all commenting usually are from the losing audience because they're worried and they're panicking, they're crying. While the people that won are silent lurkers who simply just click and leave. They don't even bother. Like, that's how, like, the average monkey behaves. They see, me like Death Note, click, next. And guess what? That motherfucker probably won't even watch the Death Note reactions because they don't even realize like what they voted for like in a week later on. But that's how like, you know, demographics work. Imagine the unexpected plot twist. Two shows having such small margin that he would do both, one after the other. I mean, we can do one after the other if Nisei wins after Death Note, but I just don't know if that's gonna happen. Let's see. Death Note is in the most people's books a top 10 anime, basically universally from most people's. It's recommended as a bare minimum. Yeah, a lot of people like, you know, hype this shit up, right? I'm glad that we can finally check it out, just like the roster of old animes that I was never able to cover because I only watched Battle Shonen growing up. This includes like Steins Gate. We were able to cover that, which is really cool. Death Note, finally we can cover this now in our channel too. I really want to be able to cover FMA Brotherhood, but people really just don't give a fuck about FMA. Monsters, I guess, another pick too, right? Some of these old shows. Toothbrush versus Chip. Some inside references. Lamau, all the comments are about Nisei while Death Note is winning now. Is this community versus tourist poll? No. This is community versus a bunch of coping people poll. Silent majority don't even need to comment. They get what they want. They're happy and leave. That's how it was for other polls too, exactly. Just because your show is not winning doesn't mean that these are tourists. Like, whenever, like, people have such a selective understanding of what a community is. Again, the majority of people didn't even want Bake, but they were split on something before, like a month ago. This is a different situation. These people are all finally coming out of the woodshed and saying, fuck it, I'm tired of just fucking waiting for a new anime. Let's go with Death Note. I'm not a tourist, but I chose Death Note. Death Note doesn't need explanation, so begging the comment to vote for it is a waste of time. Exactly right there. Anything else? The anime talked the most about in the comments actually always loses. Yes, because the people start crying. They start crying and they start panicking in the comment section. This is the craziest battle I've ever seen. It's so close. Yup. Let's see. Anything else? I swear to God, there was some comments in here that I wanted to ban. Though I was fine with any of the reactions since both would have been cause reaction, but I'm still more excited about Death Note reaction. Well, I'm glad that you're going to enjoy Death Note. I guess this is it, huh? Clash with Death Note plus Kaka buff is going to be insane, so it'll be hard for Nisei to win this. This is such an ignorant fucking excuse. Death Note plus Kaka. What is the Kaka buff? Do you think I'm buffing Death Note right now? Genuinely. You know what's buffing it? Me fucking uploading a Baki reaction every day. The biggest buff you could possibly have is me covering this specific show that's we're watching. Like, again, that's why it's embarrassing. The fact that Monogatari is a series that I'm literally covering right now. Everyone's attention is there. Yet, 496 views after an hour ago? That is fucking sad. It's pathetic. Because the viewership is actually fraudulent. Okay? It's genuinely a fraudulent show in terms of how many people are hyping it up versus how many people that actually came out to watch it. And it is what it is. There's nothing personal. Please, bruh. I need this. There's literally no decent reactors watching Mono. I've been searching for this. Well, I can't get mad at you because you probably have been coming out to watch it, right? But again, if the greater majority doesn't want to watch, exactly. It's just, it is what it is. And you can go check out Autosave too. Right? There's some other channels too. Whichever wins, I'll be satisfied because both are great, especially for our king. But I'll go with Nisei because it only gets better and better. And Death Note peaks at the midpoint of the anime. Death Note can always wait. If not, well, Death Note's going to be winning pretty soon. I'm watching Bakemono Mid through your channel. I'm really liking it. Let's go with Nisei Mono Mid instead of Mid Note. This is actually really impressive that someone would watch Baki for the first time through my reactions. And they're actually enjoying it too. Which means that, hey, I think I did something good. Lolly over some edgelord with the notebook. No competition. Well, this aged poorly. How the fuck a comment section to be filled with support for Nisei Monogatari, yet the voting results end up balanced with Death Note? Because again, tourist. This is a pattern. Majority of people simply vote and win and leave and they're happy. The people that's winning and it's panicking all come out and start crying. That's how it works. Let's see. Oh boy, time to watch someone watch Death Note again for the 10th billionth time. It's gonna be a fun time. I'm new to this channel and found this from the Total reactions. Did he drop it after season 3 of Index? No more Excel reactions to Railgun T. It's actually so impressive that I go and give people my exact explanation in the reaction videos too. Literally in the finale of Index 3, I tell them at the end, I'm gonna wait until Item and Railgun 4 comes out. There's no point. But here's the thing. Why do you think he's asking it here? Because he has low IQ and low patience. Do you expect a stupid, ignorant person to sit through and watch the outro of the video where I give you all the fucking planning? No. So it's one of the most frustrating things where it's like, everything you've asked and you wanted to know is in the fucking video, but your retard ass literally doesn't have the patience to listen to my fucking explanations. So you come out and then ask stupid questions here, and then I make fun of you. Genuinely, what a fucking donut. What else is there? I'm actually so happy Death Note managed to do well in the polls, given how much momentum Monogatari series currently has in the community. Oh shit. What's up, Mr. Dookie? It's the fucking Maple Story content creator. That's right, Dookie. Every fucking day for a content creator streamer is getting the same questions being asked over and over again, even though you've already answered it in a video or in a different chat. Because this is a fucking simulation. Everyone is just an NPC, and at the end of a stream, their brains get reset. It's like a fucking daily quest, bro. You do your dailies, next stream, it reset. And like, you're in this like crazy like... And then it's like a fucking mental illness. The like debuffs that it's like a corroding debuff in your fucking head of like trying to not to lose it. You want to be kind and you want to be nice to people, but it's like a death by 1,000 cuts, and slowly but surely you start to just go more and more and fucking insane. Ah! It's fine though. It's honestly like, I compared this like to, let's say, like an actual real job where you're doing customer facing things straight up. When I was working as a software engineer and I had to fucking like talk to clients, some boomer fucking Deborah, 40-year-old fuck from like mid whatever fucking America, and they're like, I don't know how to work this app. I'm like, lady, did you even fucking log in? What's my password? Here's the thing though, I can't get mad at Deborah, right? At least with this, I can monetize me just crucifying these monkeys. But like in the professional world, I can't do that. So this is actually still way better than a normal job. Anyways, I'm actually so happy to see Death Note manage to do so well in the polls. Given how much momentum the Monogatari series currently has in the community, since it's an ongoing series, it's impressive that Death Note was able to overcome that. But here's the thing again, right? It's actually like, again, here is an example of like a successful community series. Let's look at this. I think Psyche K is unfair, right? Psyche K's staying power was actually stupid. This was also, you know, and you gotta also think about it like this, right? This is back in May where we didn't have a bump in viewership just yet, right? This is when we were still doing only like 1.5 mil a month right now. We were stuck in that plateau for half a year. Now we're at that 2 mil mark. So you would assume that the new community series would do better. Psyche K, again, was just an anomaly where it's a lighthearted comedy anime. You don't need to watch the previous episodes to watch it, right? You can watch any episode and it's like a self-contained skit. It's fun. It's nice. It's great. Consistently hitting 10K is fucking crazy. So I don't think it's fair to like compare that. Let's compare something else. I think Granblue is more better for that. Granblue in the... Wise Man Grandchild reaction is crazy. Addressing the drama, I think this is the what's it called? I think this is the Brothers Yo incident with the Wise Man Grandchild hitting 20K and me asking my audience, hey, y'all want to watch this? Anyways, that's some old shit. Granblue hitting, right? 5K, 10K, like this is fucking fantastic, right? These are successful community series. These are not trending shows. It's not airing right now. These are old shows that we voted and watched. This is where it should be at. Yet Bake, with a buff in viewership, right? The first one, it's nice, right? 9, good. 6, great. 5, yeah, it's gonna fall off more and more. I constantly tell you guys this concept of, what is it? Right? I constantly tell you guys this concept of viewership where in the beginning, it's so easy to do well, but then later on, this happens, right? People either drop the show, they lose interest, they get, life happens and they can't keep up with it. It's fine. We're looking for the new plateau, the new baseline. And if that baseline is good enough, we can go with it. The baseline for Bake right now is 4K after the 3rd day buff, which is embarrassing, honestly. It's not bad. It genuinely isn't bad. And when I say after the buff, I'm talking about here. 3rd day mark, you see this buff here, right? This is where all the fucking backload of viewership comes from, where people realize, holy shit, he made a fucking video. But with the shadow ban stuff, that's how it works. And it's okay. It's fine, right? This is not bad by any means. It's just not as good as the other highly procured community series. And I think that Death Note will do significantly better than this. And this is also a tell sign of why, like, Nisei has lost in the polls. And I think that it's less about Monogatari being fraudulent. I think it's more about Death Note being impressive, right? As much as everyone's shitting and being dooming about Monogatari series, I think that we should put some respect on Death Note and say, wow, it's actually impressive that, like, they came out to vote and they showed up to actually show that, like, they actually want it. I think there's a few reasons why Death Note did so well. In my ignorant, crown-eating, monkey brain, goo goo gaga, baby back, retarded opinion, hey, I think Patrick here is cooking. Let's read some of what he said. Death Note is one of the most widely known anime out there and has a lot more mainstream appeal and popularity. True. Which I guess translated well into doing into polls. Absolutely. My audience is not mainstream. It's a very niche audience. But still, there is like a scaling coefficient factor of how popular a show is and how much of that will translate into my channel. So it makes a lot of sense why Death Note is going to be a lot more appealing than Monogatari. What indeed is surprising that it kind of flopped during the previous poll cycle, yes. How the fuck did it lose to Monster? That was the most interesting thing, right? And I think a lot of the Monster viewers maybe realized that shit, maybe we don't actually want to watch Monster. I don't even think Monster was getting brigaded either. And the Monster subreddit, Discord, whatever, they don't have enough members to actually brigade a poll that gets over 10,000 votes. Some might argue that popularity has nothing to do with these polls. After all, plenty of other mainstream shows would have lost here before, and that's the fair point. Well, yeah, popular shows, let's say, like, for example, right? You don't see, remember this? These are popular shows, man. JJK, Dr. Stone, JoJo's, they're popular shows. One Punch Man as well. I think One Punch Man is way more popular than Death Note. Yet why they lose? Because this is not, my channel is not a fucking Google Trends, right? We still have a very niche community of people and their interests are all varying. And Death Note is a popular show that is a different type of popular from Attack on Titan that people actually want to watch here. So that's where I think there's a mix of several factors, one of which could be mainstream appeal, but not the only reason for the primary reason. Exactly. Everything in life, it's not because of one single thing, right? There's multitude of different things going into the decision-making thing. With Monogatari continue to Nisei requires viewers to have followed everything up to that point. In contrast, since Death Note is a standalone show, it doesn't require any prior context, making it much more easy for casual viewers or new community members to jump in. Patrick just fucking gets it. Remember, this baseline that I'm talking about, this happens for brand new seasons of animes too. We're talking about, this is like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, 4, 5, 6. That's what happens. But even beyond that is, okay, we got to the finish end at episode 12, right? Think about it like this. Kaiju 8, we got to the end of season 1, episode 12. The viewership has already been fucking cut like that. And now we're starting season 2 with the new fucking, baseline of this people. It's not these people, they're gone. They already got filtered out. You have these people to work with to come in here now, and you're already starting off so fucking low. Do you know what I'm saying? More season of content, more filtering. This is a sequel syndrome. I fucking hate this though, right? As a content creator, watching anime reactions, it's such a frustrating thing. There's been so many shows that suffer from sequel syndrome, but that's just how numbers work. You can't expect everyone to be watching everything at the same time, and then eventually they start to fall off, man. And it's impossible to expect everyone to watch everything, right? I get it. People are busy. Shit happens in life. You lose interest in the show. You don't even know second season's happening. That's why it's so important to constantly remind people that, like, hey, this is fucking happening. Marketing is such an important part of this. I also feel like there's a sizable portion of people who are really into dark psychological thrillers with strong mainstream appeal, which is exactly the kind of the niche that Death Note fills perfectly. Yes, there is a mainstream plus psychological mystery shit that my audience enjoys in this channel. That probably explains why Monster was doing so well in the last poll too. But then again, why would Monster start losing here is kind of tricky. No, I straight up, I think that we don't have to have an answer all the time. Right? Life is fickle. You don't, it's like not everything needs to have a definitive solution. I think that Monster was simply just hyped up in the beginning, and there's a lot of overlap with the Death Note audience. And I think those people start to realize that Death Note actually would be a better choice, and they started hyping this stuff up a month after the poll. Nisei, by extension, Monogatari series leans more heavily on dialogue and layered storytelling, and is more divisive in tones and themes, aka pedophilia. You know what I mean, Monogatari fans? I also don't have the pedo buff, right? I think that I'm one of the most outspoken anti-lolicon people in the anime reaction space. And when I am covering the lolicon anime, of course, I'm not going to have like the tailwind of the pedophiles backing me up, especially when we start making drama videos, rattling the hornet's nest, you know, calling them out. So there's a bit of that. I don't think that's a significant factor, though. I think a lot of people are quite chill and actually feel weirded out by, you know, those kind of themes in Monogatari too. And there's a very vocal minority crowd that, you know, is just like, woo! I love jacking off to fucking lollies, but it's just like, I think a lot more people are like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is kind of weird, man. In comparison, Death Note is more universally accessible, and I personally believe that Death Note has more iconic moments, twists, and big brain strategies that are more thrilling to re-experience vicariously through someone's reactions. Did you watch my Dress Up Darling episode? Ooh. Looks like someone's getting detention. Come on, bro. There's only one fucking rule. There's one fucking rule. And you've been watching since July. How do you not know there's only one fucking rule that says don't ask for a schedule? Come on, bro. One theory I would like to add to this hardcore fanbase versus a casual fanbase. At the start of the poll, the hardcore fanbase tends to be skewed differently from the casual fanbase, especially in the first 1,000 votes. You can see in this poll exactly where the first 1,000 votes skewed towards Monogatari, almost 50-40. Sure. I don't know where you're going with this. Basically, he's right. Patrick has, I think, nailed it in the way that, like, how audiences act and why Nisei is losing. And I think that we can read more and more and more and more, you know, about this, but it's honestly beating a dead horse at this point. And here is the TLDR, all right? Here is the TLDR. I'm just trying to find that one comment that I left up because I wanted to ban the fucker on a video. Where is he? Where is he? Oh, there's some people crying here. Monogatari is fraudulent because it barely hits 3K by the third day, even though it's a community series. And last time I remember this happening is Fate Zero, which is fraudulent as well as Death Note might win. Man, Fate Zero truly was a fucking fraudulent series. An elite anime, but goddamn, the brigading of the polls, I think, really impacted the viewership there. You're clearly a tourist that doesn't watch Kawaka's videos. He explained the numbers on Monogatari are fine since he is shadow banned. Also, Death Note winning by barely 1%, so is less than 1% fraudulent. You know what? He's kind of right too, but let's let Abiram I4U continue. Bro, it should not even be close, bro. It should win, but 5 to 10% Monogatari is going into channel and Death Note is not even going into winning. And what he's basically saying is, he doesn't need to be this mean about it. It's that, is 1% less fraudulent? No. But when we are literally covering that specific show in our channel right now, if the show wasn't fraudulent, then there shouldn't even be a contest like this, right? I think that, again, a poll like this in the past, this was a bit problematic. It's not the end of the world, but it's problematic in the way that there's 41% that wasn't able to unite on a single show, and we went with Bake. And it's fine. It's doing okay. It's not the end of the world. But this means that a lot of people are waiting for something. Then we had a situation like this, right? Let me just get these together. So I just want to show you like 3 separate case studies. We have one like this. And then we have the most recent poll like this. And this is a very, This is very interesting in how So this is an issue because all these fuckers can't unite on a show, and we're just going with this, and that's still fine. But these people still needs to be taken care of. This is not really an issue. It's better. Like, we're trying to lower this as much as possible, right? Give me something else. If we've done a good job in polling and trying to figure out what people want to watch, this getting lower is a good sign. But still, these two shouldn't be that close if we've done everything perfectly. In an ideal world, basically, the distribution would be more like this. In an ideal world, basically, everybody would just go into one thing, right? Maybe this would be like, I don't know, like this would be like 10%. Maybe this would be like 5%. I don't know, right? And then like this should be like 85, right? This would be the most ideal scenario breakdown, but that's really hard to do, right? This is not like something we can force. It's all based on audience interested in what they want. So even though this is ideal, it's impossible to really expect. This is not a bad poll outcome since this is low, but the fact that these two selections are close means that we've done a poor job in trying to procure a show that should have been dominant. Usually one thing should be dominant and clear and move on. If two things are keeping up neck to neck, that means that the audience interests are splitting. That's not a bad thing. It's just not preferable. And in the game of YouTube reactions and stuff like this and community polls, I think that there are limitations, right? Again, this is not a perfect world. Not everything needs a perfect solution. And this is a limitation that we need to work with. It's not the end of the world. It's going to be fine. Anything else? Not gonna lie, Death Note will be a show up Cause Alley, but in my honest opinion, they drags on a while after it becomes really mid. I low-key might do a poll in the beginning where basically I hear that Death Note basically has two parts. And a lot of people are kind of like iffy about second part. So I think a poll in the middle of Death Note, not even middle, a poll as we get to the mid of Death Note and to do styles like that, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yes, just to like, again, my goal is not to complete shows. My goal is to give the audience what they want currently. If the Death Note fucks don't even want to watch the second half of their show, then I'm wasting my time and I'm wasting their time. I think it's absolutely worth to keep people on their toes while at the same time having people understand, again, repetition, right? People need to constantly understand that like there's a place where you go ask for what show you want to watch. There's a place where you pull for stuff and, you know, this is how it happens. The fact that like another thing that's really important is my goal is to get this concurrent viewership up and up, more polls, right? Of course, like the engagement is nice every day, but like I need to like condition my army of monkeys to understand how the jungle works. And the better we do this, the better that we can try to aim for a scenario where we can figure out the highest, you know, most proficient like polling, you know, way, rather than have a bunch of like mixed ones with people's interest all fragmented and stuff like that. So finally, TLDR. Why did Nisei lose? Nisei loses because Baki from the beginning was selected in with a poor poll of a bunch of people who were silently not able to unite on the show. On top of that, Baki inherently has an issue with filtering out tourists. The floor of entry is too hardcore for the casual watcher to enjoy. The level of wordplay and deep dialogue and stuff like that filters out a lot of crayon eaters. I know a lot of people want to say Death Note is very smart, but I think that there is a difference in the way that probably Death Note does stuff and the way that Baki does stuff. And not only that, the Japanese culture and different themes existing in Baki also kind of dissuades a lot of people. On top of that, there is a fundamental issue with second season content, right? Because as you go into new seasons, naturally people get filtered out. All of those things combined is why Death Note is winning. And of course, I mean, if I'm going to talk positive about Death Note, it's the fact that it's so popular, it's so mainstream, and a lot more people, you know, want that shit more than Baki right now. Anyways, that's kind of where we're at right now. Now, does that mean Nisei is actually over though? No. Nisei may not be done. Because I think that all we have to do is just turn this into a Patreon exclusive. The last Patreon exclusive that we finished was Unlimited Blade Works. And I'm not promising anything. I'm just offering solutions. There is one day a week where we have a quote-unquote rest day, right? Where every day, instead of like the usual workflow, like there's less like, you know, videos to go out. That's Tuesdays. And usually, if I do everything correctly, by Tuesday, there's enough time where we can check out other shows. Lately, I've been getting very lazy and kind of like not as locked in. I don't think it's much more like that. It's more of I found a nice and balanced, healthy schedule where that one rest day, rather than me focusing on Patreon exclusive, me being able to like catch up on old shows and other stuff is nice. It's like a nice little breathing room. Like every day to constantly be streaming like 6 to 8 hours and deliver fucking 8 videos a day on the main channel and a video on the second channel, it's difficult. Having that one rest day where shit goes wrong, I extra sleep and blah blah blah. It's whatever, right? But there is a chance that like we do Nisei on Patreon. But I'm not just gonna go in with it. I think the amount of people coming into Patreon for Monogatari is really, really high, and it'd be very foolish of me not to maintain retention on that. So the idea here is we're going to poll on Patreon too. I'm gonna poll on Patreon. It's gonna be the same thing. I tell people, what do you want to watch? People comment. We're gonna do multiple polls, and I'm gonna have Nisei in the polls by default. And by the end of rounding of polls, if Nisei wins, I may start doing that again. But again, this is not a promise. It's just like an extra thought I have. And another thing too is this too. Copium round. So basically, people seem to have the impression that Nisei lost because of the third option. People seem to have this like notion that like, oh my god, you sabotaged the poll. You sabotaged the poll because the third option is there. And I'm like, you fucking retard. Do you really think that people who refuse to watch both selections would suddenly come out and vote for your fucking pedophile show and that's how it's gonna win? No, these are the delusions of losers who want to rationalize why they lost. But hey, we'll do a copium round. If you really want your show to lose again in front of Death Note, alright, you asked for it. Here we go. Nisei Midnogatari. Mid-note. You really want some people... What's this? Some monkeys... Alright? Let's be a little bit nicer. Some people are making a delusional excuse that the third option of nothing else is the reason why Nisei lost. Because the people that voted for neither would definitely come and vote for your show now. Alright, that's kind of what's happening, huh? Nah, we don't have to put this in. That's not necessary. What happens with polls like this, listen, there's a reason why I increase the amount of, polls there are. The selections, I mean. And the reason for this is, if I don't have a third option, basically what's gonna happen instead of like 10 to 12,000 people coming out and vote is you're gonna have like 6,000 people coming. Basically all these people won't even poll now. They won't even vote. Like, why do you think that they're gonna somehow come and help your cause out? It's just... Hey man, I'm down though, right? It's always fun. Why not experiment? It doesn't hurt nobody. So I'm gonna poll one more time. Copium round. There it goes. Kizu part 3, I think we can do tomorrow's stream, which is gonna be Sunday for me. And Death Note can most likely start on Monday. I think that if I'm on schedule, today is what? Dress Up Darling, Summer Hikaru Died, Fragrant Flowers, if the subs are out, To Be Hero X. Holy shit, wait a minute. Fragrant Flower, Dress Up Darling, Hikaru, To Be Hero X, Lord of Mystery. Oh my god, there's 5 shows. Okay. I mean, tomorrow we can also just... There's a chance that Fragment gets delayed till tomorrow because of fan subs. And then we can check out Minogra, Gachakuda, Fragment, and then do Kizu Part 3. And then Monday onwards, right, we can do Death Note. But this is the final poll, man. You really want another chance for your show to get demolished? Here it is, man. Bye-bye.